With the release of Handmaid's Tale Season 4 in 2021, we got to see how the story unraveled and where June ended up next. The season picked up right where Season 3 ended, and we definitely saw some shocking scenes throughout the season. But given that the season was filmed during a global pandemic, a lot of things were changed. So today we're going to look at the Handmaid's Tale Season 4, things during the pandemic that changed everything. Let's get started. Less screen time. If you've seen all 4 seasons of the show, then you already know that June keeps her spot as the main character of the series, and it mainly revolves around her and how her life has changed since Gilead became in charge and since she became a handmaid. Alongside June, we do see, however, many other handmaids, commanders, wives, and many other characters on the show, but due to the pandemic, the showrunner Bruce Miller had to make some difficult choices in order for everyone to be safe and still have a season worth watching. He admitted that cutting the screen time on certain characters was quite difficult to make since we won't hear their story. But they put the focus on June and they couldn't do the long and complicated stories they had planned on doing. But all in all, we do hope we'll see more of the other characters in Season 5 so they can make up for the lack of screen time they had in Season 4.
Make me proud. I will.
Long hours of filming. When you have an entire season to film, which asks for a lot of people to be involved in it, both cast and crew, and on top of that, you have a global pandemic going on, you only have very few options up your sleeve. Given that they have delayed it a few times already, they decided to start filming, and so they could be extra safe. They made sure for each scene there would be the minimum number of people on set, and for the cast and crew to take multiple breaks in between scenes. Even though filming a season could be a long process, the pandemic added additional hours to their days. Each day, they would spend at least 10 hours a day filming just to get everything right. Elisabeth Moss, who plays June on the show, even said that she would fall asleep at any given moment just to get a quick power nap before they started filming again.
I think there are good men everywhere. Even here.
Production was shut down. The 4th season of The Handmaid's Tale was announced back in 2019, and as Season 3 ended in 2019, the plan was to start filming for Season 4 at the end of 2019. Well, as soon as they started the entire production for the season, the pandemic appeared, and out of safety for everyone, the entire production was shut down until further notice. The show was already written and ready to be filmed, but the world had different ideas. So they stopped the production and they've delayed it, so they can pick up right where they left off. This caused quite a few problems when they noticed that it's going to take a while before the pandemic is over, so they had to go over different plans on how to actually film the season. Eventually, they managed to continue with it, but filming each scene with a minimum number of people and cutting characters out of certain scenes is definitely a hard thing to do to a show. But you have to do what you have to do. Delayed release date. As we mentioned, due to the pandemic, the entire production of the season was put on pause without knowing when it would continue. Alongside this, the release date was another thing to be concerned about. The filming began in the fall of 2019, and we were expecting the new season around the beginning of 2020. But before we knew it, the pandemic hit and the release date was up in the air. A lot of people have suspected when the new season would air, but no one guessed that we would have to wait nearly 2 years before we saw June and the rest of the handmaids rebel against the rulers of Gilead. With everything happening, the release date was pushed to 2021, and today you could watch the entire season on Hulu, but it was a hard time until the first episode aired. Usually, each season takes about a year of filming and production, but the 4th season took nearly 2 years, and we're glad it wasn't more.
Just like you said. They had her.
The future of the series. The showrunner Bruce Miller, together with the main character of the show, Elisabeth Moss, had spoken out about what the pandemic means for the future of the show. Miller said that before the pandemic hit, he had the entire season planned out and ready. But as soon as he realized that everything will change with the pandemic, he started altering the scenarios and making it safe for each actor in the show. They're concerned at how it would affect the other seasons ahead, as well as the sequel that will happen called The Testaments. Miller revealed that he doesn't know whether June's story will finish in Handmaid's Tale or not. He confirmed that he has an ending for June, but doesn't know if it would be on this show or a different one. So who knows where the story of June will lead us, but we're confident that it will be worth our time. Storyline changes. As the show started with production, Miller had the entire season written and planned out, but when everything got shut down in March 2020, he decided to change some things in order for it to be easier for everyone involved in the show. Miller said that he has made some huge changes to the show and that they were all due to the pandemic. They've managed to stick as close as they could to the original plan, but with all the safety, smaller groups of extras, and smaller crew, they were forced to rearrange certain scenes or even delete them. One highlight out of this entire chaos that the pandemic created was that it gave Miller extra time to focus on some conversations between the characters that would have never happened before. He could focus more on one character at a time and truly tell their story, even if that meant the others were cut off from the scene. The traveling. Another thing that presented a huge problem for the filming of Season 4 was the locations. If you didn't know by now, The Handmaid's Tale show is filmed in Canada, and with the entire lockdown and country borders shutting down, it was quite difficult to get the cast and the crew in Canada. Filming in Canada truly became an issue for Miller and everyone else working on the show, and because of that, Miller was physically there on set for only 1 day of production. Even if the cast made it to Canada, they had to stay 14 days in quarantine, and that ended up taking a lot of their precious time. Because of this, they had to keep people out of episodes because they didn't have enough time on their schedule. Some cast members even had to fly in for only 1 day of filming and then return back home.
Do you know why God made you pregnant?
Rules and regulations. As everywhere else in the world, same in Canada, there were a lot of protocols and regulations when it came to traveling and filming in the middle of the pandemic. The cast and crew were forced to stay 14 days in quarantine each time they went back and forth to Canada. Even if they only needed to film one scene, the scenes had to have a small number of cast and the crew members were all in small groups, which made their days even longer than usual. The cast and the crew were constantly getting tested and checked for any symptoms, and besides the cast, every other person working on the show had to wear a mask. They did try to film most of the scenes outdoors and take as many breaks as possible, but eventually they managed to make once again a truly incredible season, with a lot of shocking scenes and jaw-dropping moments. We can't wait to see what will happen in Season 5.
Fred Waterford and Serena Joy Waterford imprisoned me, beat me, and raped me.
On a related note, we wanted to know, do you think the pandemic completely changed everything about Season 4? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you'd like to see more amazing videos such as this one, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.